my boots and got my ammo in my 50-pound sack. 100 boys headed to war in this world unknown. The only peace of mind I've got are these letters from home. Another day has come and gone. Another night I'm all alone. I didn't think I'd be this far out here in Kandahar. Well, most of us, we made it home, but we never came back. But when we close our eyes at night, we hear a rocket attack. I've tried to talk and tell you about it, but it ain't the same. All these thoughts that run through my head, well, they can't be tamed. Another day has come and gone. Another night I'm all alone. I didn't think I'd be this far out here in Kandahar.
You get to see somebody who's never been around a horse who's scared of horses.
WTF Nation Radio. WTF Nation Radio.
Whoa, 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 whoa. Do you ever have one of those moments where you think, how the hell did I get here? Jeez, what happened to me? I was ruling the galaxy, had a cherry new battle station. I mean, this place had an omelet bar, a straight-up omelet bar. And now look, my former interns tossing me down a bottomless freaking pit. You know, come to think of it, my whole life has been a series of what-the-f moments. That was my out.
The voice of U.S. Army. WTF Moments. This is WTF Nation Radio.
I looked my woman in the eye sockets. I told her straight out. I just said it, man. I said it. I said, bitch, I'm the man of the house.
Yeah, you said bitch, though. You called your wife a bitch.
Yeah.
This is a public service announcement from C.T. Fletcher. I will not contribute to the pussification of a nation. Get your punk ass out there and work for it, motherfucker.
Let's roll.
That's right. Break them off, some. Broadcasting live, yeah, from the Functional Veteran Center of Excellence this 12 October in the year of our COVID dumpster fire, 2020. Man, 20. I apologize for the tech issues. Now we had our AI kick it back up. It was broadcasting back on. We were waiting for the reboots. So if you were on Twitter, listening on Periscope, you probably didn't notice a beat, or maybe heard a little bit. But maybe got a little skip there. Facebook, obviously being Facebook. YouTube is up again. Twitch. It's just Facebook, dude. It's just Facebook. But
Zuckerberg knew what was happening. We were about to drop some knowledge on some people.
Right, he was just like, God, man. But God, you ain't doing shit. But anyways, what's going on, guys, gals? Welcome to everybody is up on the comms there. I see the peeps on tweets. I see the peeps on the Facebooks, and I see everybody quiet in the freaking YouTube realm on the Twitch side of the house. And man, God, what? Well, I hope everyone's enjoying their 4-day weekend if they have one. If not, then I guess it's a 4-day weekend for Columbus Day / Columbus Day, because it's Columbus Day.
Or Indigenous Peoples Day.
Yeah, exactly. It's
whichever way in history you want to swing.
Whichever of I'm about to say that half of these individuals that are making a big deal about a holiday that I have nothing to do. Don't get me wrong. Damn, what's going on in the chats right now, man? Hey.
Talk about hashish and shit.
I know, I'm about to say, dude.
Like, either pass that shit or like, let's.
God, exactly. So, at any rate, it's just everyone's making a big deal about that. Did you see? Oh, first off, Saturday Night Live. Did you see Bill Burr's freaking?
I didn't see Bill Burr's.
Oh my God!
I did. I saw the. I guess they did a promo for it, and I saw it, and I was just like, "That's not gonna be."
His monologue.
That's not gonna end well.
His monologue on freaking Saturday Night Live was freaking awesome. It was classic, and we can't play it, but I'll just go ahead and just check it out on the thing. But it's basically a Bill Burr ripping on the cancel culture in the monologue, and he just
pissed off a ton of people.
It was freaking awesome. I fucking loved it. I thought it was cool. Friend of mine, Jim Cannon, was like, I normally avoid SNL because that isn't funny, but this is awesome. He shared that, and I was like, what the hell is this? The rest of his show, the rest of the night was, it was legit. Now, a lot of individuals were pretty upset at the fact that he was talking about the biggest offenders of the cancel culture is white women. You know what? Fuck it. I'm gonna oh my God! Will we get in trouble with this? I think we'll get in trouble. But whatever. What's the worst thing? What are they gonna do? Hang up on us again or something like that? So I don't want to. Fuck it. I think we'll get shut down. Who knows? But stand by.
If we play it while we're talking. If we talk over it while it's playing, it might mess it up.
Yeah,
it might mess up the algorithm. So we should be okay.
Yeah, we should be okay. Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
That's what I'm saying.
All right. Well, fuck it.
There's ways around it.
There's ways around it.
Use bitches. This is parody and.
Yeah, there's a parody. Yeah. Exactly. So here we're gonna talk about the beginning of it, and we can't play it, but we'll let you guys hear it because there's some copyright stuff. NBC and CBS, we had some beef with Flash had to do some shit, but
feels like no balls.
Yeah.
Man, if you knew how many broadcasts we still have to fight for just to make sure that everything is restored on.
Oh my God.
The latest one was something from when we used to do the Wednesday noon show.
Yeah.
We finally got the rights back from Sony or something.
Yeah, it was from UMG. Hang on, let's see.
Listening to the eggheads,
Here
the
we go.
people we all cheated off of in high school.
Right. Here we go.
Keep listening to them, and then if you don't wear a mask, that doesn't bug me either, right? Take
Yeah.
out your grandparents. You know? Take out your weak cousin with the asthma. I don't care. It's your decision. There's too many people.
Just going after everybody.
Yes, man.
It's a dream come true. If you're that dumb and you want to
Tons of
kill
people
your
said
own
they're never
family
gonna watch
members, by
SNL
all
again.
means do it.
Like Twitter went full
Stops
steam.
you from reproducing. It's literally a dream come true. And speaking of dreams come true, did you see Rick Moranis got sucker punched on the Upper West Side? New York is back, baby! New York!
Oh man, it was classic, man. Anyways, so he went on this rant and going off about the cancel culture, and dude, everybody was freaking just going nuts, man. You know, other than the fact that New York is, yeah, hang on, guys, hang on. It'll turn. I'm waiting to the right part. What's up, Steve?
The funny thing about Bill Burr is they've tried to like cancel him like 4 or 5 times.
Right.
There's always something that he's done that they're like, oh,
Right.
he needs to. But he's like, I don't care. Like, he's not going to. I thought Bill Burr was from Boston.
I think he is. So here's where he talks about the cancel culture part, and I'll turn up a little. Hang on.
Literally running out of people to cancel.
Watch.
They're going after dead people now. They're trying to cancel John Wayne. It's like, yeah, dude, God did that 40 years ago. They're all up in arms. They're like, did you hear what he said in that interview in Playboy in 1970? Can you believe that? It's like, yeah. He was born in 1907.
They go after people that said shit
That's
like
what
a
these
decade
people
ago.
sounded like.
Right.
And then when people
You
on
never
their
talked
side
to
of
your
things, or people they
grandparents and
like
brought up the
have
wrong
shit that
subject.
happened a decade ago.
Right,
they're
right.
Like, oh, but it was so long ago.
Yeah.
Politicians are just as bad for it too, which is pretty crazy.
Yeah, exactly.
You don't
Here
bring
he
up
goes.
race or religion with your grandparents. You keep it simple.
He's talking about grandparents and shit.
Anyway, I don't know. I guess my grandparents are older. I don't know. Plowing ahead. Plowing ahead. Let's talk white women here, shall we?
There we go. Here's what we're talking about white women.
Let's talk white women. White women, you're amazing your accomplishments over the last few years. I got to tell you, the way white women somehow hijack the woke movement, generals around the world should be analyzing this. Just to refresh your memory, the woke movement was supposed to be about people of color not getting opportunities, the at-bats that they deserved, finally making that happen. And it was about that for about 8 seconds. And then somehow, white women swung their Gucci-booted feet over the fence of oppression and stuck themselves at the front of the line.
Going hard in the paint.
I don't know how they did it.
Oh my God,
I've never heard so much complaining in my life from white women. My life is so hard. Be in my heated seats. You have no idea what it's like to be me. Trashing white guys. The nerve. Where's the camera? The nerve of you white women. Listen, I don't want to speak ill of my bitches here. Okay? I know. Well, let's go back in history here.
Oh my God.
Okay? You guys stood by us toxic white males through centuries of our crimes against humanity. You rolled around in the blood money, and occasionally when you wanted to sneak off and hook up with a black dude, if you got caught, you said it wasn't consensual. Yeah, that's what you did.
He's not. He's not.
So why don't you shut up, sit down next to me, and take your talking to?
Anyway, so that's probably gonna get us. I could.
And there goes the stream.
For real?
No, I think we're still up.
Oh, I'm about to say, don't be saying shit like that, bro. I'm like, oh my God, that was fucking classic. Yeah, so going back to everyone's saying his inner Dwight. Hey, look, it's pretty much summed it up, because as soon as everyone started talking about the woke movement and started talking about today being all days, Columbus Day / Indigenous Day, and now people are upset. I was watching some documentaries about just how incompetent Christopher Columbus was to begin with. Like, it wasn't.
The man went the totally wrong direction.
He was his crew. I mean,
it's not like Christopher Columbus was off 15 degrees, or wasn't he was like off just like, oh man, I meant to go south by southeast, and instead I went south. No, this fucker went the wrong way. I'm sure there's somebody's like, hey.
Well, I mean, I think about
just saying, no, keep going this way.
Well, think about what happened. I mean, during his trip. I mean, he was a sorry ass captain. He wasn't listening to his crew. They were getting killed.
Give him money.
Yeah, and so it really wasn't until, and if anything else, he wasn't like the only white dude or the only individual that probably discovered America. I mean, we had the Vikings before that. Yeah,
Spanish or Italian?
Yeah, he was. Yes, I think everyone's saying he was Italian. I guess. But here's my thing.
Forgotten because it's not. He's not Leif Erikson.
Well, no. What I'm saying is, I don't care. It doesn't bother me. It doesn't. Christopher Columbus here has no bearing to what happened to me.
That never was a holiday for me that I really ever cared about.
Well, like, right. It was just.
I don't consider that an American holiday. Like, he discovered for Europe, the Americas, and then all those countries went over to Americas, and the British ended up, winning most of it, and then we kicked the British out.
Right. So look, I mean, okay, look, the guy was an Italian freaking explorer, an Italian dude who just explored and navigator, who did 4 voyages, right? So he was like the epitome of a lost lieutenant, right? And trying to find gold and trying to find riches. No, he was.
He was right.
Yeah, I mean, he was really. I don't know why everyone makes a big deal about him being the reason why. It's because of him Indigenous Day happened. It was because of him, the slaughter of. I'm not going to blame it on that one dude. There were other explorers around Spain, and other, like you said, Leif Erikson. You were talking about the Vikings and all that. There were other individuals around. There were fine.
So he was.
Go ahead.
He was born in Italy. He died in Spain.
Okay.
I thought he was. Now I gotta look up this guy because I thought he was financed by the Spanish Queen.
He was financed by Spain, but he also
explorer financed by the Spanish. That's fucking crazy.
So again, he exactly that guy. I don't. Everyone's like, oh well, because of this is why we shouldn't celebrate Columbus. I'll be honest with you. I don't even know why we're supposed to be celebrating it anyways. I mean, I don't.
He wasn't no American.
I mean, it's not.
He was a confused Italian.
He was a confused Italian because
he didn't even know which way he was going.
There were other European explorers that were hitting the freaking the U.S. coastline.
He looked back at his crewmates and went, "Trust me, I know what I'm doing."
Exactly, and it didn't happen.
We had soldiers that go through that every day on the land nav corps with their lieutenants.
Trust
me, Sergeant.
I know how to do this, Sergeant. This 15 demerits you're going to give me for. I got some family that were OCS instructors, and they could probably laugh their asses off and telling you about these new these NCOs becoming officers and shit. But he attacked and killed the wrong race of. I was saying he was right. He was in it was like South America, dude. He was like Central America. He wasn't in the Indians that everyone talk. It's almost like people don't really correlating the right natives that he was killing. I'm probably gonna get everyone freaked out on me because I'm mispronouncing or not being specific on the type of indigenous peoples that he slaughtered, but
14. Quite a bit.
Well, there was quite a bit, but
there's tons of tribes. There's tons of different tribes and whatnot, all up and down between Florida and everything like that.
Not at all, dude. Am I freaking? In other words, it's not it's not a big deal to even have a holiday to begin with. B,
agreed.
It's not a big deal to even be upset about what happened with that. You know what I mean?
To me, that's not even. It's not to me an American holiday. It just seems to be a day that we just for some reason celebrate, or recognize or whatnot.
Right.
And then when it comes to Indigenous Peoples Day, I recognize that more as a day that to go, it's Indigenous People Day over Christopher Columbus, because they have a point. There were people here beforehand.
Right.
I hear this thing. Oh, there's people beforehand. I said there's also Germanic people in Germany before the Romans came and took over and all this shit.
Right.
So you got to understand the world has just been evolved by conquering other people. That's just the way it was. So I got you. But they are right. There were Indigenous people here first, and it's good to recognize that because they're still part of our American melting pot.
I could see that. And
like when it comes to Christopher Columbus, cool. Lee Erickson did it already, and of course, no one knew that at the time.
Yeah, right, exactly.
We now know that was happened, but Christopher Columbus is a footnote of America, not something that is like a chapter.
Right. Right.
But that's
exactly.
just Flash talking. I can dig Indigenous Peoples Day.
Yep.
Before I would be like, man, I gotta, it's Columbus Day.
I could see that, but again, there wasn't no systematic slaughter of tribes and stuff because of Christopher Columbus. Is what I'm saying. The mapping of the country, it was going to be an eventuality that the globe was going to be mapped.
Conquistadors in Mexico.
Right. Exactly that. The conquistadors in Mexico's. That's some crazy shit. Now you have to mind.
They wiped out for the time and place an advanced civilization.
Right.
Like that.
Right. Exactly. Now again, there was also indigenous tribes fighting amongst each other for land and all that as well. Nobody can ever say there was anything else that could be other than the fact that
the world has evolved,
right?
And because of war and bloodshed.
We're gonna get We're gonna get canceled. They're gonna get canceled just for even bringing that up. Fucking.
Gary says at the time Spain wrote the history book. Now, as we learn, we rewrite
it. You said it. We white it. You said we white it.
This segment's brought to you by Bushmills Irish Whiskey.
I was about to say, did you start early?
Slur your words. But no, he's right. I mean, I think that that's a great point. We've even back for when we some of us were kids in the 90s, and for you like the 40s. We're taught one thing, but I think as a nation and as a world population, we're learning new truths, and we're finding out brand new things that we never knew and stuff like that. And the history books are constantly being rewritten because history is they always say history is written by the victors, but I think now we're at a point in our society where we can look back and go and actually going, well, that's half right, but here's some change. Here's how it from text and stuff. That's really, it sounded like it really went down. And I think that's where it's a great time. Granted, 2020 fucking sucks, but I think it's a great time to be in when we're figuring out whether we're doing something, whether we did something right or wrong, and a lot of times it was wrong in our country, and recognizing what happened to get us to here. But the same thing with other countries and big figures like that. So I mean, it's pretty cool. Like I like the fact that we're rewriting. I'm gonna leave those words out from now on. Change. We're adjusting the history books to meet the actual factuality of the events. Fuck Christopher Columbus. I'm right there with you guys.
Sailing over the ocean blue. We're gonna get a bunch of people upset. I'm really tired of the
Treasure Island over there.
I'm just really tired of the fucking butthurtness about stupid shit, bro. I really am. To the fact that we really don't have to be getting butthurt about that. Like, okay, what happened today that was a big deal that happened on a holiday that nobody's supposed to be working, but they worked anyways. It was the confirmation hearing began for the
day one. Ding.
Day one. For Amy Coney Barrett, nominated to the Supreme Court, and they already had their first. This shouldn't be happening. This shouldn't be doing this. This shouldn't be doing that. This shouldn't be doing this. Blah blah blah.
I feel so bad for her kids who have to. They have to sit and be dressed up and sit in chairs and just stare and try not to fall asleep. Like, God, I would have been like 20 seconds into Lindsey Graham's opening statement.
Well,
I would have been out.
Yeah, I would have been. I'd have been asleep anyways. But already the jabs of why this shouldn't be happening, and you and I talked about this before, Flash. The pendulum is starting to swing back to all the vitriol that was going up against D. Treasy. This is what's going to happen. All the shit they gave them, all the shit that they're saying they should and should not happen, and we should follow the Constitution. I'm really fucking tired of hearing about an impeachment again. I'm really tired of hearing about the fucking 25th Amendment again. I'm really getting tired of hearing a bunch of bullshit on stuff that they can't even fucking control. And I'm just done with it now. I really don't want to hear it. This is the portion where now it's to put up or shut up when it comes to actually going through the processes of our government. The whole country is watching. Not one time of anybody's platform have we heard anything about what's going to happen to our country for policy, foreign policy, diplomacy, taxes, the Rona, all this other shit. All the stuff that we're hearing. All this stuff about COVID, we've not heard a damn thing about from. I'll be honest with you. This situation is unique for this administration, just as it was unique for leave me out of it, ass. The same thing for W when he was going through 9/11 bullshit. He was going through 9/11, right? Nothing could have been templated for him, just like D. Treasy could not have had anything templated for him when it came to dealing with the plague. And but the drama behind it, the pushback behind it, all you're seeing right now is a lot of individuals now starting to see that, again, I mean, the debate, they're not talking about having a debate now. They don't want to have a face-to-face debate. Did you see, did you see the freaking debate with Kamala Harris and Vice President Pence? Did you see that?
Yeah, real quick though, Heath, you need to go look at a book or Google. Christopher Columbus did not write the Magna Carta. Go on now.
I think he's trolling.
Dear God. Well, just in case.
I think he's trolling.
By King John of England, during
no, I think he's trolling.
Okay, just making sure, because you got me worried over here. Just, go on and take a step over there. Okay, so, yeah, the debate. So, I mean, the debates were definitely more cordial. There was, I think a lot of people got a better expression of Mike Pence than we did this election cycle beforehand. He was very polished and posed, kind of creepy because he was so polished and posed and perfect. But he can, compared to his running mate, he came off like a golden child. Like the man, his hair, I don't think it moves. I think he's a Ken doll and just pops off. His suit, perfect. He spoke. He spoke well.
He had a fly visit him.
He didn't. There's very few times.
I'm playing a fly sound effect, guys. It's not your fucking TV. It's not your.
There was, there's back and forth. There's a couple times where Kamala Harris, while she didn't really interrupt the vice president, she did have the face, we've all seen it from your woman of choice. My wife likes to give me a bunch of, I could be talking and she'll give me a bunch of different facial expressions. Kamala Harris did the same thing to Vice President Pence. Vice President Pence also did talk over her, I think twice, where she was like, excuse me. So it was, I thought the debate was, it was more cordial. I can understand what they were talking about. There was a weird incident where a random fly, just came up and perched itself on Mike Pence's head, and he just kept on talking because he wants to be that guy, like, get the fuck out of here, man. So he did his thing, but it was just a little weird. What's even the best thing to come from the vice president debate was the memes about the fly from both the right and the left.
Oh my
supporters.
God, it was fucking hilarious.
Some people put it zooms in and there's Joe Biden sniffing Mike Pence's hair, and then there's other ones saying that flies no shit, and going after Mike Pence like that. I talked to a couple of people and they were like, if it wasn't for Mike Pence being on the Trump ticket, he wouldn't be, he definitely came off more credible. But the vice president debates are usually they're the equivalent of 2 0-6 teams in football going at it. It's like it's okay, it's happening, but it's not a big deal. It's not going to affect anything. Like, oh, cool. It's nothing that we haven't heard. They pretty much repeated everything that their running mates have repeated already. That said already.
I don't think
that's it. It was like, we learned nothing more than a more coherent policies that Biden and Trump tried to say.
Yeah, I'll be honest with you. Hearing them going back and forth, asking questions and stuff like that, a lot of deflection was happening to me. I wasn't really satisfied.
Oh, tons of deflection
on either side. So yeah,
Mike Pence was sidestepping. But he just sat back there and he had these well-polished answers that just weren't answering, but still. And then Kamala Harris, straight up just didn't answer stuff. It was pretty, it was boring. There was nothing fun about it. There's nothing new we learned. I learned more about, the confirmation, day one of the confirmation hearing for Barrett than I did the vice president. And if you weren't tracking, they were going to do a virtual. They were going to do a virtual presidential debate, but that has since been canceled because the president says he does not want to do it that way, possibly because he knows he can't virtually bully somebody, during a Zoom call.
Yeah, I again, that's getting stupid. That's getting ridiculous to where he says we should have.
Let Joe Jorgensen talk, damn it.
Right, exactly, dude. We should have Joe Jorgensen talk.
Mm-hmm. Joe Jorgensen should be on that debate stage.
Right.
Honestly, she needs to be on there regardless. Hell, USA Today even ran a ad about why, that she should be allowed to debate on stage.
I don't see why not. I think they should give her the fucking Zoom link, and then just have her. Because I've not Joe Jorgensen. If you're listening, I know you and Spike have listened to. Come on to WTF Nation. We'd be more than happy to get all the questions. As a matter of fact, we could get all the questions from both debates that we've had so far, and we'll ask you the questions. We'll ask you the questions and see.
That's a great idea.
You know what I mean? We can ask the questions that they were asked of the candidates, and have Joe Jorgensen and Spike Cohen asked it. And
fly won't attack you.
We'll make sure.
Call you stupid.
Yeah, we'll make sure. Yeah, we're not going to call nobody a clown. We'll make sure the flies of excellence are out of the room. But yeah, Spike, Joe Jorgensen, you guys know, you guys are always welcome to WTF Nation Radio and U.S. Army WTF Moments. We will ask you the same questions that the both other candidates have been asked, and we'll let you. And I don't know, was that playing devil's advocate, I guess, when it comes to just asking other questions to be more, specific.
Shit, I'll be that devil.
Yeah. Hell yeah.
You can debate me. Well,
yeah.
You come on here and we'll have an educated, a civil discussion about about your policies and your way for the future. And, we'll just make sure to put it everywhere because what we're seeing on these major news outlets is utter trash.
Yeah, I've not been. I've not been happy. I've not been happy with just I don't know. It just seem. I don't know. Is everyone? I think everyone's getting sick of it too. I think everybody wants to vote and get this shit over with because they're waiting for the next portion. They're waiting for the dumpster truck, the dumpster fire truck to come by and pick up the dumpster to put us a bigger one because I have a feeling after the election that the election's going to have a even bigger dumpster fire happening.
Well, that's one of the things that actually came up during the confirmation hearing. I do want to switch gears.
Go for it.
That was the vice president debate, but the big fight that you're going to be hearing for the rest of the week, the confirmation hearing is going to be all this week with a vote possibly Friday. Kicked off today with no questions. It was mostly statements from the different committee members, a couple people who introduced the candidate, as well as a opening statement from Barrett's. Barrett herself. Again, I felt bad for her kids; they had to be there. And then to hear, I'll give you a quick synopsis. I mean, it largely stuck to what people thought it was going to be. Republicans stuck to her credentials and saying how that she's the right person for the job and that she's got an impeccable record. And then also bringing back history, saying that people are saying that they're pushing this too fast, but there's been like 29 other candidates who've had hearings that were 16 days or less. Other candidates who have been pushed in through an election year. So here's just a couple of points. Here's 8 key points to the whole thing. So you're not me droning on about this. First off, Lindsey Graham, who's the chairman for this committee, cited our Ruth Bader Ginsburg in shooting down, the Democrats' arguments about the hearing itself. Democrats have railed against, the president and Republicans in the Senate for, how fast they've been trying to push through this confirmation process, insisting that it's too close to the election and voters, should get to decide in November's election who gets to fill the Supreme Court seat left vacant, by the passing of our RBG. Democratic presidential nominee Joe Biden even has gone as far as to say Republicans are violating the Constitution. We've heard this quite a bit. I even saw this, I think it was Kumo, the little brother, not the one on TV, who was actually having a conversation with Joe Biden, somebody from his campaign who were saying that this is against the Constitution. And he went, where? Where is it against the Constitution? It's legal. It's constitutionally legal. And guess what, folks? It is. Well, Senate Judiciary Committee Chairman Lindsey Graham, the Republican from South Carolina, up for re-election, however, rejected that notion in his opening statement, citing Ginsburg herself in the process. Quote, "The bottom line is, Justin Ginsburg, when asked about this several years ago, said a president serves for 4 years, not 3. Graham said there's nothing unconstitutional about this process. And yes, constitutional scholars have weighed in on different. There's nothing there within their full right up until, even if it's a lame duck session, doesn't have to be a lame duck session. It just is because they get paid way too much to do such little work. So that's Lindsey Graham using that against him. Second one, Senator Patrick Leahy, he's a Democrat from Vermont, suggested that Barrett could be a potential threat to the rights of women and minorities, saying that Americans are worried that that she should become a justice on the high court. Her presence will set the country back decades, which is kind of shitty to say that she's going to be harmful to women. Quote, "They're scared that the clock will be turned back to time when women had no rights to control their own bodies and when it was acceptable to discriminate against women in the workplace," Leahy said. The Democrat went on to claim that there was concerns that Barrett would rule the ways that would undo several other forms of equal protection under the law. Quote, they're scared that your confirmation will result in the rolling back of voting rights, workers' rights, and rights of LGBTQ community to equal treatment. Leahy said, "These aren't just thoughts. These are real-life implications and decisions made by the courts." Now, this is something that was echoed throughout everyone's piece, especially for the Democrats. They harped. There weren't very many jabs at Barrett herself. More so, they either attacked the quote-unquote illegitimacy of this proceeding.
Right.
They attacked that she could be a danger to the Affordable Care Act. That came up again and again and again and again. And those were those are what they really stuck to. And then also, why are we doing this? Because we're in the middle of COVID, and there's people who have tested positive that are in the building. That there's several people, there's people who have to put their lives on the line because, like Capitol Police, the janitorial staff, as Kamala Harris, talked about, and that, while she was doing this virtually, that, this is something that
they like, they care, like they care, but okay.
If the shoe was only a foot, I'm just saying,
right,
the shoe was only a foot. So here's number 3. So Senator Ben Sasse he's a Republican from Nebraska, used his opening statement to give the viewing public and his Senate colleagues a civics lesson, explaining the difference between a normal partisan politics, what used to happen, and disagreements, and the aspects of normal government function that should be agreed upon by all. In that vein, he warned that the call for some Democrats to eliminate the filibuster so they could expand the size of the Supreme Court and load it with liberal justices, commonly referred to as court packing, would be the end of the Senate as we all know it. Quote, "Court packing is the idea that we should blow up our shared civics, that we should end the deliberative structure of the Senate by making it just another majority body for the purpose of packing the Supreme Court," he said. Court packing would depend on the deconstruction of the full debate here in the Senate, and it is a partisan suicide bombing that would end the deliberative structure of the United States Senate and make this job less interesting for all 100 of us. Those are some strong words, and there's been several. Now, granted, Joe Biden did come out I won't say come out and said it. He kind of refused to. He said that the people don't need to know whether he'd support court packing or not, because there has been calls for expanding the Supreme Court, especially if this gets across the finish of the goal line, and she becomes a Supreme Court, which can I won't say politically, but when it comes to viewpoints, sways one way initially over the other. That is a danger to liberals, where they're actually considering, we need to have 9 justices just so they have an opportunity to fill it with everyone else to balance it out.
I'll be honest with you. I hope with all
red flag.
What's that?
Red flag.
I think they all. I think they all need to realize that they've messed up. I think they realize that all the shit talking that they've done, they're reaping what they sow now, man. This is like I told you about the pendulum swinging back. This is the shit that this is what they freaking get. We're gonna wait to do this, and we're gonna wait to do that, and we need to wait to do that. Why do you think D. Treasy was gonna do that anyways? He said he was gonna do it, and anybody else would have flooded her immediately and replaced her, gave her her name and all. I would have done the same thing. It's just like the DD-214's, a theory. You're not out until you get that DD-214. You are not out until you get that D. So until that day, you're still expected to do that. You're still expected to serve. You're still expected to do whatever. As soon as you get it, I guarantee it, bro. We're coming up to the election right now. He's not due to get out if he gets. That's if he gets reelected or not reelected. That's it. He done. He's going to say fuck it. He can't wait till the pardons happen. Wait till all the pardons start happening.
Pardon everybody.
He's gonna start pardoning he's probably got a whole list of people that he's about ready to pardon, because it's gonna look like as soon as he finds out that he's not gonna, I would be pardoning the hell out of people. As a matter of fact, I would be pardoning all 1,500 individuals that Kamala Harris put in jail for weed. All of them. I would all of them. All the thing. I would have enough executive orders that it would take an entire presidency of Congress, entire presidency and a couple of terms of Congress to unscrew. I would do it. I'd be spiteful just because nobody wanted to work with him on this stuff. They all deserve, both parties, don't get me wrong, they all deserve it anyways. Because now they're realizing, holy shit, he's a loose cannon when it comes to all this crap, and the GOP should have freaking, if they really didn't, the Never Trumpers really wanted him out there, they should have worked with him to kind of fucking appease him instead of fucking pissing him off. I don't give a fuck about the liberals and not so much the liberals, but the Democrats are the ones that are going, oh shit, they're quiet about it. But the extreme left on this stuff, they're losing. They're apoplectic, man. I'll be honest with you. That's my troll energy, right? I would be feeding them so bad. I'd be like, and then I'm gonna flip another one. Then I'm gonna pack because you know what's gonna happen? What would be? He would probably be thinking the same thing. Oh, you're gonna give me some shit, huh? I'm gonna pack the court too now. I'm gonna add another name to him. I'm gonna add another dude. Hell no. They deserve it. They deserve it. Had they been cool with her, had they been cool with the whole process and all this stuff, especially with the Rona, and been sympathetic, I'll be honest with you, there have been members of the Democratic Party that were sympathetic when he got the Rona. When he got Rona with Melania and all that, and Hope Hicks, and everyone started coming down with the Rona, at least they had something like that to say, hey, whatever, it's good to go. But as soon as he put his mask on and decided to take a ride around Walter Reed in his vehicle, then what? Everyone lost their shit again.
Mm-hmm. Well, speaking of healthcare, so we're moving on because I want to hit these points because I have to dip out early on today's show.
Go for it.
Working way more hours than I should be over the last week. So here's another major point that people need to get is that a major theme of the Democrats' attack on Barrett appeared to be, the idea that President Trump's nominee was going to be, she was picked for her attitude towards the Affordable Care Act. Now, also, Obamacare. It was brought up when the president was talking about, putting, a new Supreme Court, that he would put somebody who would be, who would help dismantle the Affordable Care Act in so many words. Because there's an oral arguments that start up in November. I think it's like on the 6th or something. So it's like the week right after the elections. There's a case that potentially spells the potential end for Obamacare. Several senators insisted that this case, which has been, which will be again heard in about a week or so after the election, is the real reason why Republicans are hurrying to confirm Barrett. President Trump has repeatedly indicated that he wanted somebody who would rule against it. Prior to becoming a federal judge, he criticized the Supreme Court's 2012 decision that upheld it. Oh, and your good friend, rest in peace, John McCain was also brought up in that talk and discussion. Now, Democratic Vice President nominee Senator Kamala Harris, she's a Democrat from California, said that Republicans want to confirm Barrett in a time to ensure they can strip away the protections of the Affordable Care Act. Senator Chris Coons Democrat from Delaware, gave Barrett the benefit of the doubt by not accusing her of making any arguments or any arrangement with the president, but he still echoed the concerns of fellow Democrats.
Right.
Next, Senator Mike Lee comes out of coronavirus isolation to attend the hearing. That was kind of the weird point. Again, so Senator Mike Lee is a Republican from Utah. He had tested positive for the coronavirus October 1st and said he would isolate himself for 10 days before returning to work. With Barrett's confirmation hearing beginning on the 12th, Lee was back on the first day of the proceedings. He quote, said, "I felt great." But Senator Tom Tillis, a Republican from North Carolina, who was also diagnosed with COVID-19, was participating virtually. I think there's three senators. Harris, she also participated remotely, criticized Chairman Graham's for bringing together more than 50 people to sit inside a room for hours while our nation faced a deadly airborne virus, unquote. Quote again, "This committee has ignored common sense requests to keep people safe, including not requiring testing for all members, despite a coronavirus outbreak among senators of this very committee." Now, I kind of get that. Like, I understand why they're not. I'm sure they're being like, where they do the heat gun on your head to make sure you're good to go or whatnot. But I wouldn't be against, everyone getting tested. But I know the Republicans, because Lord, they can't. Their air window is very small. They can't have a senator go down, especially a Republican senator. Next up, here's a really good key point. Senator Dick Durbin claimed Trump wants Barrett confirmed because of possibility to contest the election. That's another interesting piece about this. Senator Dick Durbin, he's a Democrat from Illinois, said President Trump nominated Barrett to the Supreme Court to do his political chores and rule in his favor for any election contest during the opening portion of the confirmation hearing. Quote, "President Trump has made it clear he wants another one of his appointees on the Supreme Court before the election because he anticipates court challenges over the vote." We all know that's happening.
Oh, yeah.
President Trump has indicated he'd be perfectly happy to have a close election decided by a 6-3 conservative majority Supreme Court rather than the votes of the American people. I mean, that's a big statement, to say about anyone. It's pretty much saying like, hey, I don't trust you're going to do your job the correct way, so you shouldn't be on there. Like this is supposed to be like, this is like the best. This is the all-stars of the law and order mind. Like these are your all-stars. These are the thinkers that are going through law and interpreting things according to the constitutions. Like these are supposed to be the people. And you're pretty much saying, hey, you're only here because the president wants. He's like, damn, it's not like he just put up like mud from WTF and said, oh yeah, he's gonna vote in my favor. No worry. He's like, we've got somebody who actually like went to law school. Was a professor. Anyways. Here's, so the next point, before Barrett's confirmation hearing even began, Barrett, who is a mother of 7, faced scrutiny and criticism over her Roman Catholic faith. Media reports likened a religious organization, which she was affiliated to a dystopian television show, The Handmaid's Tale. And during her 7th Circuit Court confirmation hearing in 2017, Senator Dianne Feinstein, the Democrat from California, told Barrett that the dogma lives loudly within you, which was of concern, which is kind of shitty. Such an avenue of attack was a major concern for Senator Josh Haley, who's a Republican from Missouri. Quote, "This freedom of conscience and religious liberty undergirds all the other rights because it tells the government that it cannot tell us what to think or who we can assemble with or how we can worship. The bedrock principle of American liberty is now under attack. That is what is at stake when we read the stories attacking Judge Barrett for her faith. That That's what is at stake for the Democratic colleagues, repeatedly questioning Judge Barrett and others about her religious beliefs. And Senator Joni Ernst, for the Republican from Iowa, similarly, stood by Barrett as well. Quote, "What your political opponents want to paint you as in TV or cartoon version of a religious radical," Ernst said, adding to the so-called handmaid's tale.
Oh my God! They've already said that there is no connect. They're I'm telling you what, man. They're making this fucking connection stuff. It's making me pissed off so much that I will fucking be a ardent conservative. I will change sides. If this is the kind of shit that makes individuals want to change sides, want to change from being a centrist or libertarian to a straight conservative, I don't know. I mean, I think I could speak for a lot of individuals on both sides of the house to see what issues there are, but I could do it conservatively if I wanted to. And the fact that these individuals, this little shit like that, this little poking of the bear and stuff like that, this is what the Americans are getting tired of, and this is why Dee Treasy is going to get reelected.
Well, Joni Ernst would agree with you. She said a so-called handmaid that feeds into all this ridiculous stereotypes they have set out to lambaste people of faith in America, and that's wrong. Ernst notes that such criticism is out of sync with the less unusual support of equality and justice for women. Quote, "I am struck by the irony of how demeaning to women their accusations really are," Ernst continued.
Oh my God,
that
yeah.
You, a working mother of 7 with a strong record of professional and academic accomplishments, couldn't possibly respect the goals and desires of today's women. That's my biggest thing, and we've had this conversation now.
Yep.
For the record, listening to every, I think 90% of the initial thoughts by the committee members. No one actually really can. That everyone's being well to keep away about her being a mother, and her about her faith. I don't think that.
You're right.
Other than the Republicans bringing up that, hey, because Democrats have done this in the media, no one during this judicial committee actually brought it up during the actual committee itself, which is a smart move, because I think it's going to turn. Granted, you got evangelists who aren't even Roman Catholics who are going to be like, that's fucked up. You're going to have a lot of people of different religious faiths going, damn, that's fucked up. And that's not in keeping with the Democratic Party, especially I tell you what, one of the smartest things that I think this president has done recently is nominating her, take away her record. We're going to be a little superficial with this point. Her record is impeccable. Her record is awesome. She went to Notre Dame Law School. She was a professor, voted best professor 3 years. Three of the years she was there. She was on the 7th Circuit Court. I mean, she's done a lot of stuff, and to do this while being a working mother and stuff is pretty crazy. But the president pretty much went cool, because I think after Kavanaugh, he went too easy. I'm gonna put up somebody that you guys are gonna show your true colors, or at least show your asses coming at her. And he put up Judge Barrett. And I think she's pretty qualified. Whether you like her, some of her decisions or not, she's a qualified person. You don't get on the short list just because you're a woman that went to law school. Like you have to have some some clout behind you. But the fact that Democrats are already starting to, at least in the media, are breaking away and going after her religion, because that works, and then and going after different, saying that she's going to be detrimental to women, I find is insulting to women. Like, damn, what do you think she's going to do? Like, she's going to say, women should not have the right to vote. Like, really?
No, I think
women should be left at the home. It's like, why would she say that? Because
I think that it's funny how they sit there and they talk shit about her having a lot of kids, and these are the same women critics that are also saying that they don't need men, that men should not be telling women how many kids they should have or not have. So I think they should shut up on this aspect when it comes to and me being of course I'm only a guy. However, what I'm seeing is, like you said, you're seeing a double standard of an attack on a woman, when that was the whole reason why equality and women's fight for work equality, women's fight for childcare and all that. Totally support it, right there with you. But then when you start attacking a woman and how many kids she has, when you were literally just trying to fight about having daycare for you to have your career and have your, I just think it's so short-sighted, and also it's very toxic to your cause. You're not gonna go against her. You can really do nothing other than all you're doing is sniping with your shit talk. It's all you're doing.
The smart ones are going after the proceeding itself.
Correct.
Like that, the real smart ones are just going after that. Whether it's COVID or they're going after the fact that they are doing this, right before an election. I think is going to resonate better than those who actually go and attack her, because she's got a great record. It's going to be hard to knock her off that pedestal. And the Republicans, all they did was they either did history lessons on, well, this has happened, 29 times before, 15 times we've had it, a confirmation hearing in less than 16 days. They went after bring up the legitimacy of this, confirmation hearing, or they've touted her record. And which is and then, also going, well, if our Democratic partners would be civil, and the Democrats going, well, if you guys would stop, flip-flopping, which then the Republicans go, well, you guys flip-flop too. It's funny. So here, my favorite part is my last point. Barrett, she pretty much tells the committee, courts should not try to do Congress's job. And I stood up and was like, hallelujah. In her opening statement, she emphasized the role of the judicial branch and said that it is not the court's duty to solve every problem or right every wrong in American life. The policies, decisions, and values judgments of government must be made by the political branches elected by and accountable to the people. Amen. The public should not expect courts to do so, and the courts should not try. Barrett allied her legal philosophy with that of the late Justice Antonia Scalia, who she actually was, she clerked under, a member of the court's conservative right wing, that she was, clerking for and whatnot.
Yeah.
I mean, he was a big voice on the Supreme Court.
Right.
Quote, it was the content of Justice Scalia's reasoning that shaped me. His judicial philosophy was straightforward. A judge must apply the law as written, not as she wishes it were. Sometimes that approach meant reaching results that he didn't like, Barrett told senators. Another part she brought up that I really enjoyed was she talked about, her coming to the decisions, and how, whenever she makes a decision, she actually goes and tries to look at it from the perspective of the person, of the losing party, if you will, because they're the ones who are going to get hurt the worst by this or whatever. So she tries to look at it their perspective, and tries to make sure that is her ruling fair, is her ruling right, and that it could be understandable even from that point of view. And it's interesting to have someone like that. And I think it went well for her. She had several people who introduced her and sang her praises. But yeah, I mean, long story short, it was 70% of the Democratic senators were going after the legitimacy about how we aren't doing anything COVID, but we're doing confirmation hearing. All the Republicans, touted her record, brought up the fact that she's awesome and a bag of chips, and that was just day one. Tomorrow starts the formal questioning.
Oh my God,
it's
the questioning.
go on for a couple of days.
Oh my God, it's gonna be crazy, man.
And then you're gonna just expect.
Yeah.
Just expect.
It's gonna be crazy.
There's gonna be some delay tactics, because what they're trying to do, while the Republicans are trying to get this vote in possibly by the end of the week or early next week, Democrats are trying to do anything they can to extend it, because it doesn't look like, even though they're touting, two of the Republicans, actually one of them actually said that she would vote. She just doesn't think they should do it, but she will vote. So it's only really one Republican that's like, and they didn't even commit that they're not going to vote. They just said that we shouldn't do it.
Right.
So the Democrats are still trying, touting those lines, but they're not really factual. And they have a 4-senator. It seems like everyone's in lockstep since Mitt Romney pretty much said he's going to vote to confirm, possibly because he's up, he's got re-election coming up soon or whatnot, and does not want to get kicked out. The next couple of days are going to be contentious. They're going to be harsh. I mean, hell, But don't expect don't expect Kamala Harris to be the same that she was during the Kavanaugh hearings. While everyone's like, because the former prosecutor, was so good at those pin drop moments, especially against Kavanaugh, she's going to be kind of subdued. She went after policy, or she went after like why are we doing this during COVID and stuff like that. But stayed away from Barrett. Actually didn't even like address Barrett by name, which was kind of crazy. So don't expect too much from her. You're going to see. I don't think I would be surprised if you see anyone actually go after her faith. I think they're going to go after specific policies that she's had. The Affordable Care Act is going to come up quite a bit, and just straight up expect it's going to be ugly.
Yeah, I was about to say, dude. There's no other way of saying it. It's going to be ugly.
It's not going to be Kavanaugh ugly. Or
no.
even Gorsuch ugly. It's just not going to be.
I bet you. I will.
It's be worse for the president and the Republicans.
I think everyone's going to think it's not going to be Kavanaugh ugly until she retorts back with something. She's going to say something that's she's going to drop the hammer on one of them, and she's going to be savage just being herself. And then the next thing you know, people are going to be like clutching their pearls and shit like that, and more votes going to Trump. I'm telling you, just by all this, what's happening and how she's being treated right now, it's more. He could have put a more centrist or more liberal, just for the fact that Trump was the one that selected her. Anybody could have been anybody. I'd be spite replacing the seat, and then I'd be packing the court. I'd be like, fuck it, you know what, y'all pissed me off. I've had enough. I'll be petty like that if you want, and then bam, there you go. We're gonna take a break right quick, a little bit delayed, and then I think you're a good idea, man. I think this has been a pretty good. We'll come back, and then we'll shoot the shit. We'll talk about some announcements, and then So everyone,
I can stay on for that. Yeah.
Yeah. So there you go. You can stay on for a little bit longer because I was about
I can stay on a little bit longer.
Okay. Yeah. I'll say.
If you're gonna end it kind of short,
Yeah.
We'll just we'll end.
Yeah. I was gonna cut it. Yeah. I was gonna cut it back maybe another 20. So probably I don't know. I'll discuss it with Flash while we're on the break, and then we'll see. So everyone, take a break, refill your glasses. Shots.
WTF Nation Radio. WTF Nation Radio.
Take it from me, Ice. You can't just float around space not caring about stuff forever.
The voice of U.S. Army. WTF Moments. This is WTF Nation Radio.
Shit in the bag, Pogue.
Nothing feels the same. Let it all be come, so won't you save me? Save me! Won't you save me? Save me! Won't you save me? Save me! Won't you please put me out of my little misery? Well, I know life is short. Mom, you know I always try to do my best. Should've listened when you told me I wouldn't be caught in this mess. Gotta go now, Dad, I'm sorry. Everybody, all y'all need to know this is life, a true story. When you chase ass down in Mexico, save me, save me. Won't you save me, save me, save me, save me. Won't you please put me out of my little misery?
I am here determined to stop this future atrocity.
This station is now the ultimate power in the universe. I suggest we use it.
The voice of U.S. Army, WTF Moments. This is WTF Nation Radio.
I find your lack of faith disturbing.
Everything stated on WTF Nation Radio is to be considered the opinion of the person that stated it, and not an official representation of WTF Nation Radio or U.S. Army WTF Moments.
Price does not include tax, title, or license. Some assembly required. Each item sold separately. Batteries not included. Objects in mirror are closer than they appear. If conditions persist, contact a physician. Individual results may vary. Keep out of the reach of children. Avoid prolonged exposure to direct sunlight. Keep in a cool, dark place. And
please enjoy the show. Shots.
Yeah. Broadcasting live from the Functional Veteran Center of Excellence. We're back with part 2, or the last section, or the segment of the
abbreviated first episode,
truncated of the second episode of Excellence.
Chapter 1, Part B.
Yeah. Drop the beat. Anyways, man. So we're talking about the man, I don't even want, we could go, I think we better stop talking about it, because we're gonna end up talking about this shit all night if we talk about ACV going through this stuff. I think what we'll start doing is we'll definitely be catching some of the details of it, but hey, I just want to cover real quick. I'm gonna do some housekeeping. Did you want to do a little bit of sports page aside from somebody breaking their leg or something like that? You go Raiders.
Oh, don't even.
Okay, I'll be quiet.
We were tracking Dak Prescott, the quarterback for the Dallas Cowboys. Man, I don't even.
Yeah, whatever.
It was a close game between Dallas and the Giants. He had a bad injury, and pretty much his ankle was turning in a different direction.
Amateur.
It was carted off the field. It was really bad. The Giants, said their sympathies and hope he gets better. According to Jerry Jones, Dak is still their future. No timetable of when he'll be back. He's definitely out for the year. Yeah. So in basketball, real quick,
Lakers won.
You have a new champion.
Yes.
And they are the Lakers. Yes, the Lakers. I think they won 4-2 over the Miami Heat. It was a really good series, but this last game was a blowout.
I told you to do it.
Which is kind of poetic considering that Kobe Bryant, rest in peace, and all the people and his daughter who were on that helicopter who perished in January. That just was the linchpin for this 2020 horrible year. It was kind of poetic that the Lakers would win a championship right after that happening, and well deserved. I mean, there was a lot of tough play. It was tough. Everyone being in the bubble and not being able to do go outside of that. It literally, your life was basketball. That's it. There was no it was pretty weird. To do sports in this kind of atmosphere has been crazy, but I think the Lakers go on to win their 17th championship, and LeBron James has won his 4th, and a lot of people talking, does this seal his his legacy? No. I think it does. 4 championships.
He'll never be He'll never be Michael Jordan. Sorry.
I mean, it's not like it's 4 championships and he was on the bench for 2 of them.
That's true. I could see that. All right, I'll give you that.
you have famous NBA players who are saying that this is the soft, and like Stephen A. Smith saying this is like the softest basketball. So of course, a big man like him will be able to push everyone around. I don't see that as, I don't discredit him for that. I honestly think basketball's gotten faster and more technical, and it's a little bit less. I've slammed into somebody to dunk it in. I think it's a little bit more. There's some more finesse and, some more style to the game. But I honestly think that, LeBron James, as much as I like to, when he starts whining or whatnot, he usually the highest, he's usually got the most assists. He's usually got the most points scored. He's usually got a ton of rebounds. I mean, he's always got a couple of blocks in there too. Like, he legitimately is a team, the team leader. Every time they've won a championship, even when he was on the super team with Chris Bosh and Kevin Garnett, I mean, even with that back team, he still was outscoring everybody. So I think honestly, you can't take this away from him.
I'm not taking it away from him, but he's not. Yeah, but he's not going to be.
He's good. He's in the hall. He's already in the Hall of Fame.
Yeah, but
I mean, he's broken tons of things. He is pulling
Jordan
closer to because he's won his fourth MVP. Finals MVP, pulling him closer to MJ. It's hard to compare the two. I think MJ could still take prime LeBron versus prime Michael Jordan. I still would take Michael Jordan,
of course,
but
I would.
Maybe because of the different play styles between the two time frames. But I think LeBron James, congrats to him and the Lakers, and Anthony Davis, who is joined the ranks of notable big men for the Lakers. And good for them. Moving on to baseball, there was some heartbreak and there was some congratulations. Well, one of the congratulations goes to the Atlanta Braves, getting past the Marlins in a 5-game series, just sweeping them. So they've had all this time off. The Braves look good. Their pitching is hot. The bats are swinging. It's looking good for the Braves, who are actually playing against the Dodgers right now. Currently in the top of the fourth, with the runner on first of 1 out. Braves are up 1-0 against the Dodgers. Dodgers, just like the Braves, took down the Padres. The series wasn't as awesome as I was hoping it to be, but the Padres did put everything they could into those games. But the Dodgers are a powerhouse. In other news, the Tampa Bay Rays had to take 5 games to do it, but they were able to get past the New York Yankees. Poetically, actually, the game was 1-1 up until the 8th inning. We're in the bottom of the 8th. They brought the coach, the manager, Aaron Boone brought in Aroldis Chapman to go against I forget his name now, for a guy on the Tampa Bay Rays. What's notable is the Rays have this whole this thing about them where when they throw at people's heads. Like, they don't hit them in the head, but they throw up and in, like a little bit of chin music. And they've done this, quite a bit, especially after a home run and stuff like that. Earlier in the season, they threw at somebody on the Yankees, and Aroldis Chapman came up and did the same thing to threw up and in on one of the players. Didn't hit him, and then ended up striking him out on the next pitch. A brawl, almost a brawl ensued. It was more of a little scuffle or anything. It was almost a little scuffle, but it definitely, both these teams were kind of talking trash to each other. Well, yes, that's exactly who was up to bat and hit a home run off of Aroldis Chapman. Top of the 9th game, the Yankees went down in order 1, 2, and 3, and Tampa Bay Rays were able to move on and face the Houston Astros. Houston Astros were able to push past in 3 games, and guess what? Tell you what, I got made fun of by a lot of Houston Astro fans. Not right now, because currently Tampa Bay Rays have 2 games on them. Out of this next series is out of 7. Tampa Bay won today 4-2, and they won yesterday as well. So Tampa Bay Rays, 2-0 up on Houston Astros. It's a lot harder to play when you don't know what's coming. There's no drums or anything.
Right.
So potentially, I'm looking at these. I'd like to think that you're going to see, I'd love to see the Braves go at it, but I think it's going to be Dodgers and Rays going into the World Series. I'm going to call it right now. I hope I'm wrong. I hope the Braves get in and the Rays the Rays over the Astros and the Braves over the Dodgers, but I do think the Dodgers, they can drop one game and they'll just like kill out the rest of the way. So that's it for baseball. Baseball's almost done.
Yeah.
I mean, it's pretty crazy. Baseball's almost done. So we've had some COVID changes to football. So we actually have a Tuesday night game.
Yeah, I was about to say.
Last week we had a couple of games that were postponed or changed to the bye week because of people getting COVID. Today, right now, we got the Chargers facing the 2-2, the 1-3 Chargers versus the 2-2 Saints. Right now, the Chargers are just killing it, 20-3 with 2 minutes left in the second quarter. And then tomorrow we have the Tuesday game. This Tuesday is Buffalo Buffalo Bills at the Tennessee Titans. Yeehaw!
Yeah.
So, I mean, let's see. Atlanta Falcons did. So the Atlanta Falcons lost their game against Carolina Panthers. What's notable about that, because the Atlanta Falcons now dropped to 0-5, is they fired their head coach. They went, shit, we're done. Tom Brady looked good in his matchup against the Chicago Bears. Just had it through for over 253 yards, so he's looking good. Kansas City Chiefs, they finally fall to the Las Vegas Raiders.
Say that again. Say that again.
Kansas City Chiefs fall to the Las Vegas Raiders.
Oh, I just wanted to make sure that was said twice.
I know, it's kind of crazy. Derek Carr throwing for 347 yards. He looked really good, but the Chiefs just weren't. The Raiders defense was looking good. Arizona beating the Jets 30-10. That was a blowout. A really tight game against the Philadelphia Eagles and Pittsburgh Pirates. Pittsburgh Steelers. We're crossing sports. This is basketball. But the Steelers were able to win 38-29, continuing the East Division for the National Football League to be trash. Los Angeles Rams went into Washington, and while the first 2 quarters was 7-6, and Washington was looking good, and the Rams said, "Oh, we're gonna play now? Okay, cool," and dropped 30 on them. So they beat Washington 30-10, which was great. We saw the return of Alex Smith. You don't remember? I believe it was last year. No, it was the year before. I think it was the year before. Alex Smith broke his leg and nearly lost his leg and nearly died because of the infections and everything that happened. It was bad. It was as bad as when what's his name? There's another Washington player who broke his leg really bad. But it was ugly. When they did the replay, they didn't know how bad it was, and they did the replay, and I almost gagged. I was like, "Oh my god, that's ugly." So Alex Smith was back. Granted, he didn't do great. He didn't do great because there's no O-line, but hey, whatever. It's just great to see him back on a football field. Baltimore having nothing with the Bengals. Don't care. Don't come to Baltimore and think you're going to play. Baltimore won 27-3. So if you had the Baltimore defense, you're doing pretty good on your fantasy football team. Jacksonville Jaguars up against the Houston Texans. Texans winning that 30-14. Miami Dolphins at the 49ers. Miami, welcome. You don't even need to be at Miami to say welcome to Miami, because Miami dropped 43 points opposed to the Niners 17. Ryan Fitzpatrick throwing for 350 yards. Looking good. Cleveland, legit, going up against the had the Colts come to Ohio and showed them a welcome, because Cleveland Browns scored 32 points opposed to Indianapolis's 23. New York Giants went to Dallas, and that didn't end well for them with a final minute field goal to put Dallas up 37-34. Daniel Jones throwing 222 yards. Ezekiel Elliott only running for 91 yards. But the loss of Dak Prescott, I think, is just going to make Dallas they've just given up on the year after that.
Yeah.
Minnesota went up to Seattle, and it was a close one, but Seattle squeaking by 1 point, 27-26. Kirk Cousins throwing 249 yards. And DK Metcalf pulling in 93 yards as he was a receiving leader. And that's a sports page. A lot of things are wrapping up. No more basketball. No more basketball. No more hockey.
Nope.
Almost done with baseball. And all we got is football. And if you watch soccer or football, that's it. That's
football? What? Why'd you? You had to drop that. That football. Goal! Otra vez. Flash.
Welcome to America. That's soccer.
It's exactly.
They go Giants. That's football. This is also when the Giants are actually good. So.
Oh man. Hey, so We're gonna do some housekeeping right now. Tomorrow we're gonna have Chris Brunetti. He's been here a bunch of times. Army veteran and actor stuntman. Spent nearly a decade as a member of the U.S. Army and returned. And it's always welcome to come back on. He'll be making his first appearance though with Pop Culture Warrior to chat with CQ. Pretty much normal week. We got Sergeant's Time and all this other stuff going on and all that. And then Friday Night Freedom. How do you guys liking the Friday Night Freedom shows? I mean, they're starting to, Kaz
seems pretty popular.
Yes, Kaz is getting his groove on with the Pooks. Wait, hang on. Kaz is getting in his groove while he is with Pookie. Wait, doesn't sound right either. Kaz is doing great on Fridays. Sorry, Kaz. I mean,
Kaz is so high right now, he doesn't even know who he's talking to. He honestly could be talking to a fern, and we wouldn't know the difference.
Kaz, dude, he's rocking and rolling. He is freaking. He's killing it. I love it.
Friday's a good look for him.
Yeah, I think he's better. I think he's better on Friday than he is on Sunday. I don't know. It just seems more. I don't know. You can totally tell the difference in the show tempo and the discussions and stuff like that. I like that. Oh yeah. Oh no, he's not gonna be here this Friday. That's right. Oh yeah. There's not gonna be a show. It might be me, or it might be, I don't know. It might be me traveling, because I might be traveling during that day. So you never know what military installation will pop up. It could be Fort Hood, or it could be Fort Bliss. You don't know. Who knows what adventures me and the child will be on. But anyways,
this is the way.
This is the way, exactly. The final, dude, the final freaking the finale of, I don't want to say it's the final, the finale. This is the show we've been waiting for next week. Louis Anderson's gonna come on. Louis Anderson.
Hell yeah.
Dude, I mean, iconic comedian Louis Anderson, the 3-time Emmy Award winner, is one of the country's most recognized comedians. He's Comedy Central's named as one of the 100 greatest stand-up comedians of all time. Yes, and he is too. One of the greatest. His career has spanned more than 30 years. He's also a best-selling author and a star of his own stand-up specials and sitcoms. And he continues to tour the country, performing to standing room only crowds worldwide. Well, next Tuesday on the 20th of October on Pop Culture Warrior with CQ, Michael Cataskill, your host, Louis Anderson's going to be on board. Man, that's what I'm talking about. And then, I mean, I think I'm just going to cancel the rest of the week, because how could you top that, bro? We got more guests coming that are pretty high viz. So, exactly that, cause that Louis Anderson. Exactly that Louis Anderson. I'm excited, man. And then that week on Sergeant's Time, we have Billy Piliot coming back, CSM friend of mine. He is the Command Sergeant Major for the 25th ID. He's going to come back, and he said he was going to give us a kind of like a rolling AAR of what's been happening with JRTC and what's been going on with his rotation. So he's going to give us some updates. Hopefully we'll get some pics and vids and stuff like that and get ready to load it up, so that way we can discuss things and he can give us his little what could have been wrong, what needed to happen, and all the other JRTC is fun, well, for the OPT4, but he's going to tell us how his rotation went. And then on 26th of October, Monday, Ranger Rick, he's the guy that you saw me hanging out with, Pat Smith, the Task Force Dagger underwater POW MIA excavating researcher and archaeologist and oceanographer. Dude, I was humbled to hang out with these gentlemen, and he is the individual that you saw in a picture on the radio page earlier, him wearing the red, white, and blue, almost like the Apollo Creed, living in America, wearing that freaking outfit. He supports several veteran organizations, but if you ever go to Mission Barbecue, or you ever go to Lowe's, and you see the signs that's got fallen hero parking spot, and it's got like a Purple Heart parking spot or disabled veteran parking spot, and it has a little code on there. You scan the code, and it talks about the individual that was KIA. It's pretty. I'll let him talk about it. He's a hype man. He's a good dude. It was a great time hanging out with him. Him and Pat Smith. Pat Smith's going to come on too later. Pat Smith, what he does is he goes to Saipan and goes to the Pacific, and goes into the lagoons, crystal clear water lagoons, and takes disabled veterans out there to go on dives to excavate old bombers that have crashed in the water or tanks that have been thrown out. Just amazing stuff. Looking for POWs and MIAs. I can't wait. It's gonna be awesome. So other than that, that's what's going on for October. Man, I guess I'll see you guys. I'll see you guys on Thursday on Sergeant's time, and then if you got anything you want to say, Flash, or you're good, or you're all right, you got anything you want to say or whatever.
No, man.
All right.
It's going to be.
All right.
Just, make sure you're watching. Don't forget, if you pre-registration for registering to vote ends in a lot of places tomorrow, so make sure you get those in. I know you might not want to vote. Please do.
Exactly.
It is your civic. Your final note. I do believe that it is your civic duty. It's not paying taxes. That's not your civic duty. But I think voting is your civic duty. Make your voice heard, regardless. Hey, and even if you don't want to vote for the president, write in someone. You can write in Flash or ICE or WTF Nation Radio. I'll be his vice president. I'm good with that. But just make sure you vote, because it's not just for the presidential election. There's people up and down the line that will affect you, like that happens in Virginia. It's going to affect you one way or another.
Exactly. Mike Dean, happy birthday, brother. I know. A year ago today, set off a sequence of events, and it was at AUSA at ArmyCon that me and Mike.
AUSA. Did you do the virtual 10-miler?
Hell no! I didn't know that. No. I didn't know virtual. Well, since I have it up, there you go, guys and gals. If you wanted to see what the AUSA schedule is going to be like, yours truly is not going to be there because obviously it's virtual. It's
all virtual.
It's all virtual. But anyways, happy birthday, Dean. Once again, it's I talk to you off and on anyways. But yeah, that was some great times. Those were some great times. DC was definitely a fun trip.
It's all going to be at the AUSA website. You think you have to...
Yeah, you got to log in, check it out. Just go see whatever the stuff is going to be. I have to check some emails because I got a bunch of junk email that might have to do with AUSA. So I don't know if I'm going to be in it or been invited. But I had not had any plans to do it. But anyways, so with that,
kicks off tomorrow.
Yeah.
Start at 10.
That's right. Starts off tomorrow.
The only thing I'm really looking forward to this is there's the SMA initiatives, which are always really important. The CSA's presentation, which is really good, and then there's the family forum town hall. Army's been working really hard for this quality of life, the improving quality of life, so that's a big issue.
Right.
And then so there's some good stuff in there. So make sure that you're checking out the schedule. I'm sure it's going to be some things are going to be on. I'm not even sure.
Yeah, we'll see.
I don't even know how it's going to run. I know.
Neither do I.
Stuff on the Army's different platforms.
Yeah,
so
I want to check it out.
They're going to do something.
I want to check it out too. I got some friends that work in that area that can help me out. If there's anything that's on Facebook, well, I'm pretty sure we'll share it on WTF Nation Radio Facebook page. But anyways, thank you guys and gals for hanging out, and y'all have a good night and shots.
Hey, this is SEAC retired John Wayne Troxel. You're listening to WTF Nation Radio, the station of choice for all of the badass MFers on the planet.
The voice of U.S. Army, WTF Moments. This is WTF Nation Radio.
intergalactic horse, and we'll ride into the sun, yes, into the sun, where we'll take the day by planting a flag right there at its source. Space Force. They say that they've discovered life up there on Mars, so let's blow it all to hell and then claim it for ours. We'll paint the moon red, white, and blue for no other reason than we wanted to. Oh, Jupiter, imagine what you could become. A stupid, pointless planet turned into a giant gun. And Russia, so sorry, have to burst your bubble. Be a good sport now, sit back, relax, and watch us through the Hubble as we celebrate the greatness of the United Planets of America. Space Force, Space Force. We'll saddle up our intergalactic horse and we'll ride into the sun, yes, into the sun, where we'll take the day by planting a flag right there at its source. Space Force. Now we'll go to infinity and beyond, beyond. You'll hear our manly voices singing Space Force strong. Though critics say sound doesn't travel in space, to which we reply sound will do as we say. Oh, Captain Kirk, your achievements, though notable and fine, as far as we're concerned, this is Deep Space Mine. And big fans, but Lord Vader, step away from the lightsaber. There can only be one, of course. Space Force. Ra-da-da-da-da-da, ra-da-da, ra-da-da, ra-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-dum-dum-dum-dum, ra-da-da-da-da-da, ra-da-da, ra-da-da, ra-da-da-da-da-da-da-dum-dum-dum-dum-dum-dum. Space Force, Space Force. We'll saddle up our intergalactic horse and we'll ride into the sun, yes, into the sun, where we'll take the day by planting a flag right there at its source. Space Force. Space Force.
Everything stated on WTF Nation Radio is to be considered the opinion of the person that stated it, and not an official representation of WTF Nation Radio or U.S. Army WTF Moments.
Price does not include tax, title, or license. Some assembly required. Each item sold separately. Batteries not included. Objects in mirror are closer than they appear. If conditions persist, contact a physician. Individual results may vary. Keep out of the reach of children. Avoid prolonged exposure to direct sunlight. Keep in a cool, dark place. And
please enjoy the show. Shots.